In 1571, the Yucatan public became sick to the plague. One man tracked down a plant and alongside others, drank it. The substance turned individuals blue and made them unequipped for taking in air. They immediately moved to the sea and made a development in the profound water, Tenoch. One of the ones who ingested the plant had a child named Kukulkan. The child grew up to become leader of Tenoch. At the point when Fen kicked the bucket, she requested to be covered on the land. Kukulkan drove a few gatekeepers up to the land where he saw a progress. They went after the human advancement to account for his mom's entombment. One of the locals referred to him as namor, signifying the kid without affection. Shuri works in her lab, making a good attempt to make a fake heart-molded spice to use for her sibling and Wakanda's the best, T'Challa, who is passing on from a disease. Ramonda gradually strolls into the lab, declaring the ruler's demise. After a year, Wakanda is experiencing difficulty with different countries needing their vibranium. The Dora Milaje discover French military men attempting to take from their station. Afterward, Ramonda converses with the unified countries and uncovers the French's endeavor to take. She reminds the nations that despite the fact that the Dark Jaguar is gone, they will in any case battle. At a mining station, Americans mine in the sea utilizing a vibranium finder that was made by a MIT understudy, Riri Williams. They utilize this to find vibranium in the sea. Abruptly they go under assault by Talakanals who don't need them taking their vibranium. The final helicopter of survivors is struck somewhere near Namor. In Wakanda, Ramonda and Shuri go to the water and grieve the year since T'Challa's passing. They consume their memorial service pieces of clothing to connote the finish of the grieving time frame, regardless of Shuri not being totally prepared for this. Namor then, at that point, shows up, getting past the boundary by going under the water. He uncovers to them the presence of Tenoch and maintains that their assistance should prevent outsiders from taking vibranium. He additionally makes sense of that Wakanda isn't the main spot that has vibranium, Tenoch has it as well. Ramonda berates him, stressed of his presence. He lets them know he will kill the researcher who created the machine and that they can help him, yet they can't hold him up. Shuri and Okoye go to meet Everett Ross, who gives them the name and area of the youthful researcher, regardless of potentially offering private data. Okoye and Shuri then, at that point, go to Cambridge, Massachusetts to track down Williams. They follow her to her carport where she uncovers that she is dealing with an Iron Man-type defensive layer. In any case, they are trailed by the FBI. The three move away, Okoye in a vehicle, Shuri in a bike, and Williams in her protection. Abruptly, they are met by Talakanals, Atuma and Namora. A concise clash closes in Shuri and Williams getting caught. Ross shows up at the scene the following day and meets with his ex, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. He likewise tracks down Kamoyo Dots and conceals them. In Wakanda, a chafed sovereign Ramonda condemns Okoye for losing Shuri, which is exacerbated by past episodes, for example, when she apparently agreed with Killmonger when he usurped the privileged position, and flames her from her situation as Broad. Shuri and Williams awaken in Tenoch. Namor shows Shuri the development, attempting to persuade her regarding his standards, in any event, giving her his mom's armband. Be that as it may, she differs in killing Williams. In the interim, Ramonda goes to Haiti to see Nakia, who had left Wakanda 6 years earlier. She requests that Nakia track down Shuri for her. Nakia does a few spying and sorts out the area. She then breaks Williams and Shuri out as Ramonda converses with Namor about his arrangement. They return to Wakanda, yet just for additional torture as Namor and his kin attack. They flood the city causing a hard and fast conflict. Namor deals with all of the Wakandan vehicles prior to flooding the royal chamber holding Ramonda and Williams. Williams begins suffocating, so Ramonda swims to save her. She can get Williams to somewhere safe and secure, yet just to suffocate all the while. Shuri grieves her mom's passing as Namor tells her she is sovereign at this point. He and his kin then, at that point, leave the country. In the interim, Allegra de Fontaine figures out that Ross has been speaking with Wakanda this entire time and has him captured. M'Baku converses with Shuri after the memorial service and gives her ethical judgment that she shouldn't kill Namor. He then tells her he will give lodging to the dislodged Wakandans following the assault. Shuri then, at that point, utilizes Namor's mom's armband to make the counterfeit heart-molded spice which at last works. She goes to the astral plane subsequent to taking it and is welcomed by Eric Killmonger, who claims they are something very similar. They contend a peace before Shuri claims she will kill Namor out of retribution. Shuri awakens and makes herself a suit. She then drops into a gathering among M'Baku and the older folks as the Dark Jaguar. In planning of the fight, Shuri and Williams understand that they could debilitate Namor by warming his body up to where it can't get oxygen. They then make a second Iron Heart covering. Shuri gives Okoye new shield, acting similar as Iron Man's 2, called the 12 PM Holy Messengers. Okoye initiates Nakia to be separated of her two-lady group. In the sea, they utilize a vessel to bait the Talakanals into a snare. The fight initiates as Namor appears to acquire the upper hand. Nonetheless, Dark Jaguar traps him in an Imperial Claw contender as they remove off from the fight. In the meantime, the Dora Milaje battle the Talakanals on the vessel while the Jabari clan, Nakia, and the others fight the ones on top. Ironheart and the 12 PM Heavenly Messengers deal with the airborne Talakanals. Dark Puma warms up the Imperial Claw contender, debilitating Namor, however he starts to break out with his lance. Dark Puma shoots an impact from her vibranium gloves which detonates the entire boat, sending the two enemies into the island beneath. The two battle some more until Namor spears Shuri. In any case, rather than polishing her off, he is more stressed over getting to the water before he kicks the bucket. A harmed Dark Jaguar breaks free and gets before the limping Namor. She then shouts, "Wakanda for eternity," as she shields up, sending an impact from the detonating claw contender into Namor. He is set burning as he falls. She remains over him to polish him off, however recalls her sibling, T'Challa. With these recollections of the man he was, she chooses to save Namor's life the same length as he gets back to Talokan. Namor has appreciation for the Dark Puma and joins her as they return to the battle scene and advise everybody to quit battling. Yet again Dark Jaguar then, at that point, shouts, "Wakanda for eternity," as the rest rehash it back. In the result, Williams gets back to MIT without her defensive layer as the Wakandans need no discussion with letting her keep it. Shuri leaves for Haiti as opposed to trying for the high position, which eventually is tested by M'Baku. Afterward, Namor paints in his room as Atuma welcomes him. Namor guarantees her that their new collusion with Wakanda will be useful. While heading to jail, Okoye breaks Ross out of authority. In Haiti, Shuri meets with Nakia prior to leaving for the ocean side where she consumes her memorial service stately robe, permitting her to lament at long last. In a mid-credits scene, Shuri discovers that Nakia and T'Challa have a child, Toussaint, who Nakia has been bringing up stealthily distant from the tension of the privileged position. Toussaint uncovers his Wakandan name as T'Challa.